The Bloody Mary is a fly that was developed by Mac Christensen. He first started considering the fly when he looked at the larvae and adult stages of large stoneflies. He wondered how best he might imitate them. Through a series of trial, error, and careful experimentation, Max came up with the Bloody Mary. It's a very general purpose fly. It can be fished anywhere you find stoneflies, and is a very successful fly as long as it's fished correctly. Okay, I'd like to tie my version of the Bloody Mary. In the vise, I have an Allen hook on jig hook. It's with a 60-degree bend. It's their hook 100, J100, and on that I have a slotted gold 1/8 tungsten bead. For thread, I'm going to use a Benici. It's a 12-aught in black. I'm going to start the thread behind the bead. Lay a base down the shank. Okay, in order to split the tails, I'm going to use a biot. For tail, I'm going to use a brown olive ice dubbing. I'm going to use just a tad to build up a little ball at the end of the fly where my biots are going. Okay, for the tail, I'm going to be using some brown tan goose biots. I'm going to pull 2 from the stem, clip off the back end, and align them back to back. Okay, when I get finished, I'll have a V. I'm going to lay that on top of the hook shank so my tails are about about a gap length. Okay, I'm going to hold them on top with a pinch, make 2 loose wraps, and then pull tight. Trying to keep them on top of the hook shank. Okay, it looks like they slid just a tad to the side. So I'm going to take and try to straighten them. Okay. And then I'm going to go back over and lock them in place. Make sure they're good and tight. Okay, we'll clip off the tag ends. Okay, for the ribbing on the fly, I'm going to use peacock herring. I'm going to take a single strand, cut it off just a little ways down so I'll make sure my stem's nice and strong. And attach it to the top of the shank. Okay, to give that some strength, I'm going to use some crystal flash. This says pearl. It's actually a green crystal flash. This will give the peacock herring just a little strength, and we'll also put a little flash in the body of the fly. Okay, I'm going to take my whip finisher and tie off my black thread. Cut it off and put the thread to the side. For the body, I'm going to use some Danville nylon stretch. This is Chinese red. And we'll start that just a little bit behind the bead, not all the way to the bead, but just a little bit behind it. Okay, and we'll form a body, and we'll try to put just a little bit of a taper in the body. And we'll whip finish. Okay, we'll cut off the stretched nylon and we'll put our black thread, we'll reattach it right behind the eye. Okay, I'm put just a coat of head cement on top of the body to help secure the ribbing and to give it a little bit more strength. Okay, I'm going to kind of twist these two together to make a rope, and then I'm going to bring them down the shank. Okay, I'll tie off my ribbing. Okay, in order to make sure that our excuse me, make sure that our hackle stands out, I'm going to put just a little bit more this olive brown ice dubbing. Make a little ball here that we can push the hackle back up against. We'll leave just a little room behind the bead for our hackle. Okay, for the hackle, I'm going to use a tan hen hackle. And I'm going to prepare the hackle by pulling the fuzz off of both sides. And then I'm going to hold it with the stem away from me, and I'm going to take the right side of this stem and cut off the fibers. So when I get finished, I'll have something that looks like this. Okay, I'm going to hold the shiny side towards me and pull back the fibers, the barbules. So I have something like that. I'm going to clip it off just enough to be able to tie it in. Okay, then we'll ready to put the hackle on. We'll take our hackle pliers. And we'll bring our hackle around the shank. I'm going to keep it in front of that little ball of brown olive dubbing that we put in, so it stands out and it doesn't lay flat back against the fly. Okay, we'll tie it off. We made 2 wraps, and we'll tie it off. Okay, we'll clip it off. Take a look to make sure our hackles all the way around, and they go just about to the end of the tails. We want them to the end of the tails or slightly shorter. Okay, then I'm again going to put just a little bit of ice dubbing right here in front. Okay, we'll put in a whip finish. I made 2 turns there, and I'm going to take a little head cement, put that on my thread to finish off the whip finish. Okay, and there we have my version of the Bloody Mary.